Welcome back to Spill the Beans podcast. I am so excited to have you here. Let's get into it. Welcome back, guys. It's me, Beans. I know it's been a good minute since I have recorded any podcast episodes. I'm so sorry, guys. I've been so busy. My internship, working. Life has been a little chaotic. Life has been a little hectic. But I am going to start making videos and posting them a lot more regularly now. So that is exciting. That is beautiful. That is amazing. Today, I know I really wanted to get into this series. I don't even know if I voiced this in a video. I just think I said it to myself and never even said it out loud. But I wanted to basically start a series talking about herbs and their different types of properties. So the next one that I'm going to do is aloe, and I'm going to go over how to basically also make that into a plant ward. So that's going to be exciting. That's going to be great. Soon that's going to happen. Okay, it's in the works, it's in progress. But today, I know we are currently going through this Mercury retrograde. There are actually several different planets that are in this retrograde right now. So it's not just Mercury, honestly. And I know everyone is probably really going through it. I know this is a rough one for a lot of people, and we're really going through it, and we're really struggling, and we're just trying to hang in there, you know? So this video is basically about how to take care of yourself during this Mercury retrograde. Number one, when Mercury's in retrograde, a lot of the times what it's about is miscommunication, right? Words, things, thoughts get translated wrong. They don't make sense. So there tends to be a lot of communication errors between you and your loved ones, or the people you're close to, friends, family, etc., right? So number one, what helps with this is thinking things through before you talk. Doing things in a passionate, heat of the moment type things, definitely going to cause some miscommunications, definitely going to cause things to not go the way you want to, and them not fully understanding your full intent there. Okay, so taking a pause, taking a moment, even dare I say, take a couple of days to think about what you really want, what your intentions are, what is really hurting you, what is really bothering you, and just keep it inside for a minute there, okay? Number two, if you're thinking about texting your ex, don't. I feel like that is Mercury retrograde rule number one, really. If you are thinking about texting your ex, just don't do it, okay? It never ends well. There's no real good reason to do it. And even if it's one of those things where it's like you and your ex just need a break for a little bit, and eventually you guys are going to get back together in the future, trying to reach out during a Mercury retrograde will only cause more problems than you want. See, look, guys, I can't even talk. That's how this Mercury retrograde has me. Not being able to talk. No sense is being made over here. Just change. Just change. Anyways, right. Back to the Mercury retrograde stuff. Number two, taking care of yourself. That's going to be super important, right? Because if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're already coming from a place where your needs aren't met, it's just going to cause your brain to short circuit, right? You're not going to be able to think about things clearly. You're not going to be able to see things clearly. So because there is that not clearness that's there, things are going to inherently come out wrong. So we don't need any of that. Number one, let's make sure we're getting some sleep. Let's make sure we're getting some rest, right? Sleep, rest, beautiful, amazing. I'm a fan of naps, okay? I'm pretty sure all of you guys know this. I love me a good nap. I will, until the day I die, be a fan of naps, okay? I'm naps' number one biggest fan. And I stand by that. Right, number two, let's try and make sure we're eating properly. Let's make sure we're eating some good, nutritious foods, right? Let's throw a vegetable in there every once in a while, right? Maybe a fruit too, you know? Make it a crazy time. Have a vegetable and a fruit. Whoa, craziness. I'm actually a big fan of fruits and veggies. I love me some broccoli. Celery's good too. Like a good carrot. I got sidetracked. I was like, yeah, veggies are good. Asparagus is also really good, okay? And some people may think that the way I eat asparagus is not true veggies, because sometimes I eat asparagus with bacon, and I can see where they're like, is that healthy? I can see it, right? But also, it's delicious. So, yes, it's green, it's delicious. What's the problem? And that's what I have to say to those people. What were we talking about? Food, nutrition, well-being, self-care. Right. Keeping your space relatively clean also really helps. When your space is dirty, when your space is messy and junky, sometimes it makes you feel extra chaotic. Sometimes it makes things more intense than they need to be. And it can also sometimes make you a little bit more depressed than you need to be. So I'm not saying like deep clean your room or anything, but maybe pick a couple of things up there, maybe clean up a little bit, and you'll see the effect it has. Like once your space is clean, once your room is clean, once your house is clean, you're like, wow, like all this negative energy that I've been carrying, all of this weight that I've been carrying is now released. Like there is a effect that it does, okay? So that really does help a lot. So if you're struggling, if you ever do get some of that energy back, and I get it, sometimes this Mercury retrograde it's dragging us all through the mud, okay? So like if you ever get a moment, you catch your breath and you're like, okay. If you have a breath, maybe do that. If you can, I get it. There is no judgment here. It's rough and tough out here. All right. Beans is going to be the last person to judge about that, honestly. But it does help and it does make a difference. And if you're able to, you should. And if you can't, completely understand. Another thing that's going to be super helpful during this Mercury retrograde is, number one, just keep to yourself. All right, let's just keep to ourselves, minding our own space. And the main reason for this is because the more we interact with people, the more we put ourselves out there, the more potential there is for things to go wrong. And I'm not saying let's be solely introverted, right? Like go hang out with your friends, go hang out with your family. I'm just saying, if you know that you're already not feeling well, if you're like, okay, I know that things have been a little wonky lately, so I've been trying to communicate things and it hasn't been being communicated properly, maybe let's just keep to ourselves a little bit for another week or so until Mercury's out of retrograde. Let's just take a little bit more time to ourselves. Let's journal. Write things down in a journal. That's always good. I like to voice my problems to the trees, okay? Because the trees, they have ears, okay? They can hear you and they be making shit happen, okay? You talk to the trees, you're like, yeah, my ex did me dirty. Next week goes by, they got in a car crash, okay? I'm just saying, the trees have ears and sometimes they be doing things. So keep that in mind. The trees do be doing the things and the stuff. So I'm a fan of talking to the trees. Going for a walk, always nice, always helps clear my thoughts and puts me back on focus. But that is just me. Meditating, you can use walking as a form of meditation. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm a fan of doing that. But meditating is always nice, and just taking a moment to relax and be by yourself. And just making sure you're not saying things that you're going to regret, or you're not just doing things in the heat of the moment, is going to be super helpful and super important during this Mercury retrograde. I don't know if you guys know this also, but for Mercury retrogrades, electronics tend to mess up. They tend to short circuit. And I wish I had a video of this, but I don't. While I was doing my internship, one of the elevators, somehow someone called through one of the elevators, and it was one of those telemarketers. They were trying to sell like healthcare or something, so they were speaking through the elevator, and everyone who's on the elevator was like, listen, this is an elevator. I don't know how you're doing this right now, but we don't want to buy anything from you. We're on an elevator right now. And for the life of this person, they could not understand that they were speaking through an elevator. They were like, but if you just have 5 minutes, I can talk to you about this great healthcare plan. And they're like, we're on an elevator. And it was so funny to see. And I was like, and this is how I know I'm in the middle of a Mercury retrograde right now. Because only this would happen. Only this. So watch out for that, you know, cars short circuiting. Cars are really honestly more likely to break down in this Mercury retrograde. So if your car's already been acting a little funny, maybe be a little bit proactive about it. Maybe go take it in. All right. Or just use it a little bit less so that way it doesn't break down on you. Because that's the advice I've been given, right? My car already went into the shop and I knew that was going to happen sooner or later. The good thing is I didn't have to spend too much money to fix it. I'm very thankful for that. But if your car is already acting funny, let's not try and push our luck, push those limits. Let's try and play it on the safe side, because that'll help a whole lot. One of the other planets that is in retrograde right now is Saturn. Now, Saturn in its normal state it's a planet about limitations, boundaries, self-control. It has a lot to do with those negative behaviors. And so when it's in retrogrades, number one, sometimes you feel really stuck. Sometimes you feel really restricted, like you aren't able to move, like you aren't able to progress the way that you want to be progressing. And a lot of this is because there are some things that you need to work through, usually internally, usually some thought beliefs that need to be let go. So when this planet is in retrograde specifically, it's a great time to do a lot of introspection and be like, okay, why am I feeling stuck? Why am I feeling limited? What do I feel like is holding me back? Is it me, myself, with my own negativity, my own toxicity, negative thought patterns, those types of things, and work towards letting that go, which is a lot easier said than done. I know that sometimes it is super hard, but those things are going to be brought to the forefront. Your negativity, your own toxicity, that's going to be brought up, and it's going to prevent you from moving forward and from progressing like you really want to progress. And sometimes you're going to feel out of control, because this is one of those planets that's going to test your self-control and your limitations. That's what it does. It's like, let me poke at the bear. So number one, putting yourself in situations that basically don't push those limitations too much. That's going to help, just because it's going to be a very trying time. So trying to get yourself out of those situations already going to be helpful. But taking that moment to be introspective and being like, what can I do to help these feelings that I know are going to come? What can I do to help me get rid of feeling so limited, to help me feel less restricted, to help me feel less stuck? That's also going to be incredibly helpful during this time. Another reason why I think this retrograde season is so difficult for a lot of different people is because another one of those planets that's in retrograde is Neptune. And Neptune has a way of bringing up all that unresolved emotional trauma and feelings. So along with it pushing our limitations and pushing our boundaries, right, we also have these emotional things that we haven't been working on, that we push deep down into the dark place, and they're getting brought up. And so now we're feeling emotionally chaotic while also feeling stuck and limited, and it's causing a lot of people to crash out. And I can't even blame people, honestly. Like, me too, honestly. But they're all getting brought up so that way we can heal, so that way we can allow ourselves to progress, because these are things that we haven't been working on, or that need to be worked on, or that are holding us back from reaching our true potentials. So when these emotional things get brought up, like I said, it's going to be super important to take a moment, to take a pause, to not to isolate just a little bit, so that way you can breathe and work through all of these things that really need to be worked through. And because Neptune is a planet that deals heavily with intuition and psychic abilities. Sometimes that intuition may be a little bit off. It may mislead you a little bit. Those psychic abilities may not be working the way that you want them to work, just because, like I said, there is some emotional trauma or emotional feelings that still haven't been worked through, and so it's messing with that intuition. It's messing with that psychic abilities. And this is not going to be for everyone, right? But there are going to be some people out there who has that happen, you know, where they're unable to hear the messages from their spirit guides correctly or properly during this retrograde season. And it's going to be because Neptune is in retrograde, and it's messing with that. It's making things very unclear, and it's hindering that psychic abilities. So keep that in mind when you're doing what you're doing. There's also Chiron in retrograde. The thing is, I don't know much about Chiron, guys. I wish I could tell you more about that one, but I don't know much about it. I wish I was an astrology guru, you know, one of the astrology girlies out here who could tell you anything and everything about your natal chart, but I cannot. This is just all that I know, and I wanted to share this information with you. I'm hoping that the information that I shared with you is going to help you guys in navigating your way through the rest of this retrograde season, because I know it's been rough and I know it's been tough, and I hope you guys take some time to care for yourselves, and just knowing a little bit about what's going on sometimes can make a huge difference. And so that is why I share with you what I share with you. So bye, guys.